Hey, welcome back for yet another ballistics gel test. Today we're shooting something I've wanted to try for a while, so I'm actually pretty excited. Here, let me rotate the box for you. We're shooting Winchester Deer Season XP 3030 150 grain. And here is the box for that Deer Season XP 3030. Beautiful artwork on the new Winchester ammo boxes, loving that. We'll flip it around. Here is all of your promo information, your ballistics info down here. You can pause and zoom in and read that if you want. But let's go ahead and open the box and take a look at this stuff. Of course, it comes with a nice promo sticker now. That's kind of neat. Nice styrofoam ammo holder. Open it up and we have just a big old giant plastic, essentially a ballistic tip, up here in front of the bullet. So I think, as I understand it, this is sort of a PowerPoint bullet with a gigantic ballistic tip. We'll see how it does on gel. I'm expecting some explosive performance. And my test rifle today is going to be my 1980s vintage Glenfield Model 30A, basically a Marlin Model 336. It has a 20-inch barrel up top. I have a vintage Leopold M8 4X scope, and bringing up the rear, of course, I have one of my Mason leather cartridge cuffs. I've got the caliber stamped into it right there. Check out my website, masonleather.com. I would absolutely love to make you one. And let's come around to the other side. I want to show you, I've got my white-tailed deer design on this one. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. And we're down here at the blocks after firing that 150 grain Deer Season XP 3030 load, and we have some interesting performance. And sorry about the tape measure being upside down. The sun is facing the wrong way to film from the other direction, so whatever. So the first thing I want to say is I'm going to call this a failure. The bullet failed in my estimation. We have an entry. There is the base of a jacket right there. The core continued on and landed right there. But this is just a really tiny piece of core right there at the edge of the block. It looks like we had some of the core exit the block as well, but the bullet blew completely apart. We do have some fragmentation back here where the entry was. Then we had another one come in here, zipped right along, and right there, and of course I'll dig all this out and we'll look at it here in a minute. That is the base of the jacket there. Here is another piece of the jacket, and then there is the lead core. And then the third bullet was lost. It zipped out of the block somewhere in the first block because there's not a third wound track in this second block. So as far as penetration goes, that is sort of up for debate. Instead of counting this, I'll count how far the core went, I guess. So penetration has a big caveat on it for this load. So it looks like right here, this bullet is going to be, we'll call it 18.5 inches. And then for this one, which is actually in 1, 2, 3 pieces, I guess we'll count the deepest piece, which made it right to about 20.5 inches. So we'll dig all this out and take a look at it. And let's take a look at the velocities for that 150 grain Deer Season XP Winchester stuff out of the 3030. Our high velocity was 2244, so pretty slow. Our low was 2200, and our average was 2227. So this stuff is not going too quick. All right, y'all, we are looking at the remnants of the Winchester Deer Season XP 150 grain 3030 bullets fired into the ballistics gel blocks. These were the best pieces I was able to recover. We had just massive fragmentation early on in the first block. This is a pretty big failure. You could go so far as to say this is a catastrophic failure. And it wasn't one off. Every single one of the bullets fragmented and blew up, so it's not like this was a one-off issue. All the bullets did this. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to talk about weight retention, expansion, and such, but I'll give it a shot. So the heaviest recovered fragment was 77 grains. That's that lead core there. But as far as weight retention goes overall, I mean, obviously we can't really measure that. And the same goes for expanded diameter. We just have bits and pieces and chunks. I'm not going to waste time measuring how big one of the fragments is. This is just plain a failure. And then also, surprisingly, this ammo basically failed as far as velocity goes. So our high velocity was 2244, our low was 2200 feet per second for an average of 2,227 feet per second versus the factory build velocity of 2,390 feet per second. We were 163 feet per second slow. Now, we all know that factory ammo is almost never as fast as is stated on the box. The factories are using longer barrels. They have ideal test conditions. They are testing the velocity right out of the muzzle as opposed to a few feet away with a chronograph. But this sort of slowness is a bit extreme. And if you go back, I just posted 2 other Winchester 30-30 ballistic scale tests, and both of those were much, much closer to the factory stated velocity. So I'm not sure what happened here. And now we'll talk about penetration, at least as much as we can. There were sort of 2 main fragments that were in the blocks, and those fragments were at 18.5 and 20.5 inches, but they were not whole or even close to whole bullets, so it doesn't really do much good to talk about that. These things basically just blew up like a grenade. All right, y'all, final thoughts on that Winchester Deer Season XP 150 grain 30-30 load. I don't know about you, but personally, I love a good failure, and that is what we got with this particular test. Now, if I were to go pick up another box of this stuff off the shelf and try it, I may have different results, but the results we get, the test we take, is based on the ammo that I got, and this is what happened. Catastrophic failure across the board, absolutely horrendous performance. Weight retention, you can't even barely figure it because everything was in little chunks. We had one core that was still 77 grains. Expansion, can't really measure it because the stuff blew up like a grenade. Velocity, I usually don't harp on velocity much in my final thoughts because it's really the least important thing. What you want is bullet performance. The velocity in and of itself isn't a big deal unless it's getting down into handgun velocities, then it's a little bit more important. But a rifle bullet going fast is a rifle bullet going fast. This stuff was slow, almost like it was underloaded from the factory. Hey, whatever happened, happened. I don't know. It is what it is. And then penetration-wise, again, hard to figure because the bullets just kind of blew up. If you're looking for a 30-30 load to predator hunt with, to knock coyotes down, blow them in half, stuff like that, whatever you guys are into, this stuff might be the ticket for you. But as far as medium game hunting, deer, black bear, hogs, stuff like that, I'm not going to touch this stuff with a 10-foot stick. If you've used it, let everyone know how it worked down in the comments. I'm sure if you hit a white-tailed deer in the vitals with it on a broadside shot or shoot it in the neck, it's going to drop it on the spot, but that's not what I think about when I do these tests. I want some margin for error because if you hunt long enough, things don't always go according to plan. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.